Jimmy Callahan's ship roared through the atmosphere of Aegis 7, its hull rattling under the barrage of Vorkith drones. His AI companion, Tex, crackled to life on the comms. "We've got a mess down there, Jimmy. The colonists are in worse shape than we thought." As the ship pierced the cloud cover, the devastation became evident. Once thriving settlements lay in ruins, with Vorkith patrols marching through the rubble. Jimmy's jaw tightened. He guided his ship toward a hidden landing zone outside the main city, evading enemy detection systems. Upon landing, Jimmy was greeted by Dr. Ilara Harrison. She looked older, wearier than he remembered. The burdens of leadership and the desperation of their situation had taken a toll. "Jimmy, thank God you made it," she said, her voice a mix of relief and urgency. "What's the situation?" Jimmy asked, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Ilara led him through a series of underground tunnels to the Resistance's base, hidden beneath the remnants of a once bustling marketplace. The Vorkith invaded 6 months ago. They've enslaved most of the population and are stripping the planet's resources. We've been able to mount small resistance efforts, but without outside help, we're outmatched. As they walked, Jimmy took in the scene. Makeshift medical facilities, engineers cobbling together weapons from salvaged parts, and children being taught in hidden corners. It was a stark reminder of what was at stake. Tex's voice interrupted his thoughts. "Jimmy, we've picked up chatter about a high-value prisoner. A leader of the local resistance, Commander Kane. The Vorkith are holding him in a fortified base. If we can free him, we might have a shot at turning this around." Jimmy nodded. "We need to plan a rescue. Kane's intel could be the key to crippling their operations here." Ilara's eyes sparkled with a glimmer of hope. "We've got a team, but we'll need your expertise. And your ship." Jimmy assembled a team from the resistance fighters. Lydia, a young mechanic with a knack for sabotage. Marco, a seasoned pilot with nerves of steel. And Tarek, a local leader with an intimate knowledge of the terrain. They gathered in a dimly lit room, maps and holograms spread out before them. "The Vorkith base is heavily guarded," Ilara explained. "We'll need to disable their defense systems and create a diversion. Lydia, you and Tex handle the sabotage. Marco, you'll be our getaway driver. Tarek and I will lead the ground assault." Jimmy surveyed the team. "We go in fast and quiet. No mistakes. We get Kane and get out." The night of the operation, tension ran high. The team moved under the cover of darkness, evading patrols and slipping through narrow alleys. Lydia and Tex worked their magic, disabling security systems and planting explosives at key points. As they neared the base, the group split up. Jimmy and Tarek approached the main gate, where Tarek used his knowledge of the guard rotations to slip them past. Inside, they encountered fierce resistance, but Jimmy's combat experience and Tarek's local knowledge gave them the edge they needed. They found Kane in a high-security cell, guarded by Vorkith soldiers. A quick, brutal fight ensued. Jimmy's fists and Tarek's blade were a blur of motion, leaving the guards incapacitated. They freed Kane, who was weak but determined. "Thank you," Kane gasped, his voice hoarse. "The Vorkith are planning a final assault to crush the resistance once and for all. We have to act fast." Jimmy helped him to his feet. "We've got a plan. Let's get you out of here." As they made their escape, Lydia's explosives detonated, throwing the base into chaos. Marco's piloting skills ensured a smooth getaway, weaving through enemy fire as they returned to the resistance base. Back at the base, Kane was briefed on the Resistance's current status. He shared critical information about the Vorkith's command structure and their weaknesses. The team now had a fighting chance to liberate Aegis 7. Ilara placed a hand on Jimmy's shoulder. "We couldn't have done this without you. Now we have a real shot at taking back our home." Jimmy Callahan stood at the head of a small group of resistance fighters, his eyes scanning the devastated landscape of Aegis 7. The remnants of once thriving cities were now shadows of their former selves, and the air buzzed with the low hum of enemy patrols. His heart pounded with the urgency of their mission. "We move out now," Jimmy said, his voice firm. Lydia, the young mechanic with a fierce determination, nodded and adjusted her gear. Marco, the seasoned pilot, gave a thumbs up, ready for whatever came next. Tarek, their local guide, remained stoic, his face set with a mixture of resolve and sorrow for his ravaged home. As they navigated through the war-torn streets, they kept to the shadows, avoiding the watchful eyes of Vorkith drones. Lydia's expertise came into play as she disabled a security checkpoint with deft hands, allowing the team to slip through unnoticed. Every step they took brought them closer to their goal, rescuing Commander Kane, whose strategic knowledge was vital to their cause. Tex's voice crackled through Jimmy's earpiece. All clear on the surveillance grid. You've got a window, but it's closing fast. The team pressed on, each member contributing their skills to the mission's success. Marco scouted ahead, his keen eyes spotting potential threats before they could become a problem. Tarek's intimate knowledge of the city's layout proved invaluable, guiding them through hidden paths and underground tunnels. They arrived at the fortified base where Kane was held. The structure loomed ominously, guarded by heavily armed Vorkith soldiers. Jimmy signaled for the team to halt and regroup. We need to hit them hard and fast. Lydia, you and Tex handle the security systems. Marco, be ready to pilot us out of here. Tarek, you're with me on the ground assault. Lydia nodded, her fingers flying over her device as she hacked into the base's network. Moments later, the lights flickered and the security grid went down. We're in, she whispered. Jimmy and Tarek moved with precision, taking out guards with silent efficiency. They reached the high-security cell where Commander Kane was imprisoned. Inside, they found Kane, weakened but determined, chained to the wall. Jimmy and Tarek worked quickly to free him, their movements urgent but careful. Thank you, Kane said, his voice hoarse from days of captivity. They're planning a major offensive. We need to get this intel back to the resistance. The team regrouped and prepared for their escape. Lydia's explosives were set, ready to create a diversion. Marco's voice came through the comms. I've got the ship prepped and ready. Just say the word. As they made their way out, the base erupted into chaos. Lydia's charges detonated, sending plumes of smoke and debris into the air. The Vorkith soldiers scrambled, trying to regain control, but the resistance team moved with coordinated precision, cutting through the confusion. They reached the extraction point where Marco awaited with the ship. Let's move, Jimmy shouted, helping Kane aboard as the rest of the team followed. Marco piloted the ship with skill, weaving through enemy fire as they ascended into the sky. Back at the resistance base, Kane was debriefed, his intel providing a crucial edge in their fight against the Vorkith. Plans were quickly formulated, strategies adjusted based on the new information. The resistance now had a fighting chance and morale soared. Alara approached Jimmy, her eyes filled with gratitude. We couldn't have done this without you. Kane's information is a game changer. Jimmy nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This is just the beginning. We've got a long fight ahead, but at least now we have a real shot. The team gathered, each member reflecting on the day's events. They had faced significant challenges, but their unity and determination had seen them through. For the first time in months, there was a glimmer of hope on Aegis 7, and Jimmy was ready to lead them into the next phase of their battle for freedom. The underground base was a hive of activity, with resistance fighters moving purposefully through the dimly lit tunnels. Jimmy Callahan reviewed the latest intel with Commander Kane and Alara Harrison. Kane's insights had revealed critical weaknesses in the Vorkith's defenses, and they were planning a decisive strike. As they finalized their plans, a sudden alarm blared through the base. Tex's voice cut through the noise. We've been compromised. The Vorkith are launching an attack. Everyone, prepare for combat. Jimmy and his team sprang into action, weapons at the ready. The ground trembled as Vorkith forces breached the outer defenses. Jimmy led a group of fighters to the front lines, determined to hold the enemy at bay. The clash was fierce, with laser fire illuminating the dark tunnels. Lydia, the young mechanic, worked frantically to repair a damaged barricade. Her quick thinking and resourcefulness kept the Vorkith from overrunning their position. Marco, the seasoned pilot, provided air support from above, his ship weaving through the narrow underground passages with precision. Amid the chaos, Jimmy noticed something strange. One of their own fighters, usually steadfast, was acting erratically, giving away their positions to the enemy. Jimmy's heart sank as he realized they had a traitor in their midst. He confronted the fighter, a man named Jonas, and quickly discovered a small, insidious device implanted at the base of his skull. "Mind control," Jimmy muttered. Understanding the Vorkatha's cruel tactic, he knocked Jonas out, determined to remove the device later and hopefully save him. With renewed urgency, Jimmy rallied his team. They pushed back the Vorkath assault, but it was clear this was only a prelude to a larger offensive. Once the immediate threat was neutralized, Jimmy returned to the command center with Kane and Alara. "We need to find and disable their command unit," Kane said, his voice steady despite the dire situation. "It's the only way to stop them from launching a full-scale invasion." Alara nodded. "We have the location, but it's heavily fortified. We'll need a precise and coordinated strike." Jimmy's mind raced as they formulated a plan. Lydia and Tex would disable the base's security systems, Marco would handle extraction, and Jimmy, Kane, and Tarek would lead the ground assault. The success of this mission was crucial. Failure was not an option. The night before the mission, Jimmy sat with his team, the weight of leadership heavy on his shoulders. "We've been through a lot, but this is our chance to turn the tide. Stay focused, trust each other, and we'll get through this." The team nodded, determination etched on their faces. They understood the stakes and were ready to give their all. As dawn approached, the team moved out. Lydia and Tex worked their magic, breaching the security network and causing a series of controlled blackouts. Under the cover of darkness, Jimmy and his team infiltrated the Vorkath command base. They moved swiftly and silently, their training and teamwork evident in every step. Inside the base, they encountered fierce resistance. The Vorkath were relentless, but Jimmy's team fought with unparalleled skill and unity. Kane's strategic mind and Tarek's knowledge of the terrain gave them a critical advantage. They reached the control room, where the Vorkath commander awaited. The battle was intense, every moment a test of their resolve. Jimmy's heart pounded as he faced the commander, their clash a brutal testament to the stakes of their conflict. Finally, with a well-placed strike, Jimmy incapacitated the commander. Tex's voice crackled through the comms. "Security systems are down. Marco, get ready for extraction." The team regrouped, their mission a success. They hurried back to the extraction point, the weight of their victory settling in. Marco's ship awaited, and they boarded quickly, lifting off just as the Vorkath reinforcements arrived. Back at the resistance base, the mood was triumphant but somber. They had dealt a significant blow to the Vorkath, but the battle was far from over. Jimmy looked around at his team, proud of their courage and resilience. They had proven that together they could face any challenge. Alara approached Jimmy, her expression a mixture of relief and gratitude. "We did it, but we need to stay vigilant. The Vorkath won't give up easily." Jimmy nodded, his resolve steeling. "We've taken a big step, but there's more to be done. We'll be ready." As dawn broke over Aegis 7, Jimmy Callahan stood with his team, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. They had dealt a significant blow to the Vorkath, but the fight was far from over. Commander Kane's intel had given them a critical advantage, but the Vorkath were planning a major counteroffensive. The resistance needed to strike decisively. Jimmy gathered his team in the command center. Alara Harrison stood by his side, her eyes sharp and determined. "Our next target is the Vorkatha's primary command hub. It's heavily fortified, but if we can take it out, we can cripple their operations on Aegis 7. Lydia, the young mechanic, and Marco, the seasoned pilot, listened intently. Tarek, their local guide, nodded, his face set with resolve. Jimmy outlined their plan. Lydia and Tex would once again disable the security systems, allowing Jimmy, Kane, and Tarek to infiltrate the command hub. Marco would handle extraction, ensuring their safe retreat. The team moved swiftly, their actions synchronized and purposeful. As they approached the Vorkath base, Lydia and Tex got to work, hacking into the security network. Within moments, the base's defenses were down, and the team slipped inside. The base was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, each more heavily guarded than the last. Jimmy and his team moved through the shadows, neutralizing guards with silent efficiency. They reached the command center, where the Vorkith commander was orchestrating the counteroffensive. A fierce battle erupted. Jimmy and Kane fought side by side, their movements a seamless dance of combat prowess. Tarek's local knowledge and tactical acumen proved invaluable, guiding them through the complex and providing critical support. As the fight raged on, Jimmy faced the Vorkith commander. Their duel was intense, each strike and counterstrike a testament to their skills and determination. Finally, with a decisive move, Jimmy overpowered the commander, securing their victory. Tex's voice echoed through the comms. "We've got incoming reinforcements. Marco, we need extraction now." Marco's ship arrived just in time, its engines roaring as it hovered above the extraction point. The team boarded quickly, and Marco piloted the ship through the treacherous skies, evading enemy fire with expert precision. Back at the Resistance base, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The successful mission had dealt a significant blow to the Vorkith, and the Resistance fighters were more united than ever. Alara approached Jimmy, her face reflecting a mix of relief and determination. "We've bought ourselves some time, but we need to stay vigilant. The Vorkith won't give up easily." Jimmy nodded, his resolve unwavering. "We'll be ready for whatever comes next. We've proven we can fight back, and we'll continue to do so until Aegis 7 is free." The team gathered, reflecting on their journey and the challenges ahead. They had faced immense adversity, but their unity and determination had seen them through. As they prepared for the next phase of their battle, they knew that their fight was far from over. The Resistance base buzzed with activity as they fortified their defenses and planned future operations. Jimmy took a moment to appreciate the strength and resilience of his team. Each member brought unique skills and perspectives, and together, they formed a formidable force. Alara's voice broke through his thoughts. "We've received reports of increased Vorkith activity in the northern sector. They're likely planning another offensive." Jimmy's eyes narrowed. "We'll need to strike preemptively. Gather the team. We move out at first light." As the sun rose over Aegis 7, the Resistance fighters prepared for their next mission. Their resolve was stronger than ever, fueled by their recent victory and the knowledge that their fight was just beginning. Jimmy looked around at his team, proud of their courage and determination. "Let's show the Vorkith that Aegis 7 is not theirs to take. We fight for our home, our freedom, and our future." With those words, the team set out once more, ready to face the challenges ahead. They had proven their strength and unity, and they were determined to continue their fight until the Vorkith were driven from their world. As they moved through the rugged terrain, Jimmy couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. They had faced insurmountable odds and emerged victorious. With each step, they grew closer to their ultimate goal, the liberation of Aegis 7.